I mean, this is such a tired question, but I've never really gotten an answer that satisfies me. I look at Trump and I'm like, this is not a radical person in most ways. Why? And a lot of the things that he says are things that the Democratic Party was like officially for 10 years ago. Less wars, pay attention to the forgotten man.
Free trade is kind of bad.
Yeah, right, exactly, right. I mean, he is not a radical right-winger as I would have conceived of a radical right-winger in 1998 or 2018. So why, but the Hive reacted to him like the devil does holy water, just like, I can't be near you. What is that? I still don't fully understand it.
I think it's two things. One, less important, though still not trivial, which is comportmentally, he's just such a radical departure from the way anybody who has ever gotten close to the presidency has conducted themselves. And I remember so well the time I realized.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's true. But once you understand what that is, you can put it in the proper context and not go insane about it. I remember the time that I realized just how far gone the media was when it came to this, and the political establishment generally, which was during the 2016 campaign when they kept asking about collusion with Russia and all that. And he said, I don't know anything about that. I have nothing to do with the Russians, but hey, Russians, if you're listening, they were asking him, did you participate in the hacking?
Yeah.
And he was like, I didn't have anything to do with that, but hey, Russia, if you're listening, maybe you could find Hillary Clinton's 87,000 deleted emails, which was obviously a joke, just just a joke. I have nothing to do with Russia, but if they're such great hackers, maybe they can find. The media took that and they, for over a year, earnestly pretended that this was proof that he was in cahoots with Russia because he submits hacking requests to Russia. If you have some back channel secret relationship with Russia, the way you're going to submit your request is by standing in front of 130 cameras and be like, hey, Putin, this is my latest hacking request. Go find those emails. Instead of having a, Don Jr. meet in a parking lot with some Russian agent or whatever. I mean, but the fact that they were willing to, they really thought that was a smoking gun, and could not understand how Trump jokes, how he uses irony, how he purposely trolls, was, the time that I realized just how far gone they were. But I think the bigger reason why they were, and I think we've talked about this before, is I would say since the end of World War II, maybe before that, but certainly since the end of World War II, what we have more or less is a continuity of core Washington dogma on foreign and economic policy.
Correct.
You have, on the margins, things that make it appear like the parties are so different. They fight about abortion. They do disagree on abortion or culture war issues, all of that. But on the question of how power is distributed, on how the U.S. maintains global hegemony, on feeding the war machine, on how our economic system functions and who it serves, there is complete continuity between Republicans and Democrats. Those permanent power factions in Washington, the corporatism, militarism, don't care at all who wins because their policies prevail no matter what. You can vote for whoever you want. You can vote against it. You can vote for it. It doesn't matter. It continues. Trump, by necessity, because the Republicans had already chosen Jeb Bush as their candidate, we all expected it was going to be another Bush-Clinton race. It was going to be Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton. That was the assumption that everyone had. Hillary would have lost had the DNC not cheated for her, but they did cheat for her, so she was the nominee. But the only way Trump could break through, how do you break through against all the Republican money behind Jeb Bush? You have to run against the Bush family. You have to run against conservative Republican dogma on both economics and foreign policy. He ran against the Iraq War. He ran against permanent war. He ran against serving corporatism at the expense of the working people, against free trade at the expense of, having an industrial base. And he became a kind of threat, and Steve Bannon was the architect of the time, and Steve Bannon's vision very much was that, the Republican establishment is at least as bad as the Democratic establishment, and he was a threat to disrupt this bipartisan continuity on which power factions in Washington depend, and I think that's what made him so anathema to so many different factions.
He was a challenge to the post-war order.